Hello everyone, and thank you very much for joining our webinar today. It's called Newcomers Guides to Financial Success in Canada. I'm Karim Al-Assal, the Policy Director at CanadaVisa. The purpose of today's webinar is to support all of you in your goal to succeed here in Canada. As you know, Canada is a very welcoming country. It needs you to support its social as well as economic prosperity, which is why Canada is now welcoming over 1 million new permanent residents, foreign workers, and international students each year from all over the world. After you get your visa to come to Canada, you have many important questions, such as, how do I find a good job? How do I get a cell phone plan? How do I rent a home? Etc., etc. And among the top questions that you have is, how do I open a bank account? How do I bring my money over to Canada? And how can I save for my future in this country? Fortunately for us, we have Canada's leading bank for newcomers, TD, here to help guide you through these questions, as well as many more important financial topics. Our TD expert will give you a short presentation of about 20 minutes or so, where she will walk you through these topics. She will then spend the remainder of the webinar answering your questions. We've received many of your great questions via email prior to the webinar, and we're going to answer as many of them as we can in this event. You're also welcome to type your questions in the chat box on your screens, so feel free to do so now or as your questions come up during the course of the webinar. Please note, during this webinar, we're able to answer general questions about how to bank in Canada. For more specific questions, please email us at webinar@canadavisa.com, and afterwards, TD will follow up with you with more tailored information. I'm also happy to note this webinar is being recorded. We're going to email you a recording of the webinar by tomorrow at the very latest, and it's also going to feature the presentation slides that you are about to see. Now, let me go ahead and introduce our expert speaker. Giselle Yu is a branch manager with TD at the Aaronwood Shopping Centre in Mississauga. Mississauga is a major suburb in the Greater Toronto Area and is where Canada's largest airport, Toronto Pearson Airport, is located, which is where many of you will be flying into when you move to Canada. Giselle has been with TD for over 8 years and is a proud member of the Mississauga South leadership team. Since joining TD in 2015, Giselle has excelled as a leader and has grown from a customer experience associate while being a university student to now being a branch manager and a part of the Mississauga South leadership team. She is passionate about people development and believes in establishing personal connections to build confidence in colleagues and customers. On a personal note, Giselle is a travel enthusiast and an avid runner. So with that being said, Giselle, I'll hand things over to you.
Thank you so much, Karim. Welcome and thank you for joining TD's information session. As Karim had mentioned, my name is Giselle and I'm from the local branch in Mississauga South at the Aaronwood Shopping Centre here in Ontario. Today's session is all about helping you prepare for your financial journey and building your financial confidence. We know it can sometimes feel overwhelming, whether it's your first banking experience or whether you're looking for other options from another bank. Either way, we're here to support you and make sure you feel confident to make informed decisions about your finances. Let's get started. There's a strong connection between financial health and overall well-being. Financial issues are often a top source of stress that can influence our mental, emotional, social, and physical health and can impact relationships and affect our ability to achieve our goals. Understanding financial health through 4 components, spend, save, borrow, and plan, provides a quick and simple way to assess your financial well-being. It creates a framework that can help you identify opportunities to build and maintain financial habits. Financial health really comes when you're able to spend, save, borrow, and plan in a way that helps you build resilience, pursue opportunities, and meet your financial goals. To understand how you can achieve financial health, let's get started by looking at its 4 components, starting with our plan. Mapping out the specific steps it will take to achieve your short and long-term goals may look different for everyone, but they should always include well-suited banking products and solutions, specific behaviors, and of course, your milestones. We're ready to help you develop a plan for your needs and your circumstances. Plan for the unexpected and feel confident that the protection you have in place is right for you. This includes life, car, or home insurance and credit protection as a part of your bigger financial picture. Short-term goals can include maybe saving up to buy a car, a vacation, or saving for a down payment on your home in Canada. Long-term goals might be post-secondary education expenses, moving into your dream home, or your retirement. At TD, we recommend reviewing your plan regularly to make sure it's working and to still know that you're on track to reach your goals and adapt when necessary. We're here to support you through your discovery of needs and goals whenever you need us. All right, the next component that I'd like to review with you is save. Saving accounts are a place where you can grow your money to help reach your goals faster. We shouldn't underestimate the importance of an emergency fund. Preparing for the unexpected by building an emergency fund that can cover 3 to 6 months of monthly expenses is truly the ideal number. We know this can sound daunting, but we can create a personalized strategy for you as an automated savings plan to make it simple, fast, and effortless. We have various investment options to grow your savings. This is where we can ensure that we ask the right questions and offer the most appropriate solution for you. I'll actually never forget when I was 15 years old, I got my first job at Starbucks Coffee. It was actually just a casual time role. I was working about 8 to 10 hours a week. I was still in high school. And I just remember that on my first day of work, even before I signed my offer letter or even having my first day at work, my dad actually took me to the first TD bank close to my high school right after school. He set up a savings account for me, and he essentially told me to put a pre-authorized plan that every month after I get my check from work, I would put $100 aside into a savings account. And not just that, every time I go shopping, he said that I had to put $1 away into my savings account too. And at this time, I didn't know any better. This was my first job. My dad actually originally told me that this was a Canadian law and that every single person had to do this when they started their first job. So I didn't even question him. So for years, I would literally be putting money aside, $100 away every single month into this savings account. And then when I turned 18 years old, my dad actually set this up into now an investment, because this is something that I can actually, at the age of majority, I can actually now start putting something where we can invest this money and have it grow a little bit more. It was actually put into a tax-free savings account. I didn't think much of it. Every now and then I would double the amount, and I honestly never looked back. To this day, I actually still have that same pre-authorized savings plan. I never changed it. And as I grew into the role in banking, I did other types of investments just because I know a little bit more, but I never stopped doing that $100 transfer over to that account. And actually, the money that I actually had saved when I was 15 years old was actually the money that I used towards my down payment for my first home. So I'll never forget the importance of that, of starting early. And I'll always thank that advisor that actually told my dad to have me get this started when I was 15. And it's funny because we actually work within the same district right now. So she always shares these stories in our work events because she'll never forget when I first came to her when I was 15. So it's a great story to tell, and it's something that I share with a lot of our customers, the importance of saving early and making sure that we do have that emergency fund. Day-to-day expenses like gas, groceries, and bills are a part of everyone's lives. So is shopping for new clothes, traveling, or a fun night out. We want to help you build these into your overall financial plan, but also help you spend responsibly. Checking accounts are where your day-to-day transactions can flow through. We have convenient options for you, like having your bill set up automatically come out of your account by accessing your banking online. Overdraft protection is also available for your checking account, and allows you to complete a transaction to your approved limit. It can also avoid declined transactions, late payment charges on your bills, and non-sufficient fund fees. Another way to manage your expenses while helping you build your credit history and earn points and rewards is by using your credit card. Our credit card has benefits including the Aeroplan points, travel or cashback rewards. You can redeem these rewards through Air Canada Travel, Starbucks, Expedia for TD, Amazon Shop with points or cashback. We also have a low interest rate option if you carry a monthly balance. We're going to go into more detail on building your credit history in a few minutes. We recommend meeting with your advisor to learn more about your financial needs and goals to help find the best solution for you. During your first few months in Canada, it's important to think about your credit, score, and history. What is a credit score? Your credit score is a record of your ability to borrow and repay loans on time. As a newcomer to Canada, it's important to build your credit history and know that your credit score is dynamic. This means that this will change as your financial circumstances change. How do you build your credit score? Applying for a credit score is a good way to start. Using your credit card on a regular basis and paying it off each month will really help build your credit history. That's how I did it. There are a few factors to keep in mind to maintain a good credit score. Always making your payments on time, avoid going over your credit limit, and if you think about not being able to make a payment, just contact us further. Why does a good credit score matter? Having a good credit score and its rating can help you when you look for services such as the internet, mobile phone plans, and renting or buying a home. And now that brings us to our very last component of financial health, borrow. We talk about spending responsibly, and we want to ensure that you're borrowing responsibly as well. Managing your debt is important to ensure that you stay on track to meet your financial goals or milestones. We have a couple of situations in personal lines of credits and loans depending on your borrowing needs and circumstance. A line of credit offers the flexibility to use and access available funds without having to reapply for the line of credit, where a loan can be used if you need a structure or a fixed payment. Ultimately, it comes down to your needs and your goals. We invite you to come to your branch to provide you with a tailored advice and the right solution for you. We have so many different banking options, whether it's in person, online, over the phone, on your mobile. You can bank anywhere and anytime. Making banking easy is convenient, and it's a top priority for many customers at TD. I actually wanted to share a story about one of my regular customers at my branch. Her name is Shirley. She's a 74-year-old woman, and she lives in a retirement home close to my branch. She's our beloved customer because she brings us Tim Hortons every time she stops by. The branch that I'm in, we've been around for about 50 years. It's an older branch, but it was renovated recently. And she has been coming to the branch for the last 40 years and had built really good relationships with the team. So essentially, she would bus to our branch multiple times a day, 74 years old, to really just deposit checks from her son who doesn't live in the area and from the government and all the different things. Every time we would see her, we would urge her and ask her, you should start doing direct deposits from the government going to the account. You should ask your son to do online transfers for you so that you don't have to be inconvenienced by coming to the bank. But she said that she'd been doing this for 40 years and she was not about to change now. And honestly, she just really liked seeing us. A few months ago, unfortunately, she sprained her ankle walking down the stairs. And she actually called us crying and asking if one of us could drive her to our branch just because it was her regular routine. She wanted to deposit her checks. Luckily, one of my advisors had actually set her up with the TD app and online banking just a few months back. It took us years to get her to be able to do this. And with that, over the phone, one of my advisors were able to teach her how to do a mobile deposit, where she could actually deposit her checks in the comfort of her own home. And now it has been a few months and I haven't seen her. She calls us every few months or so just to say hi because she misses us. And she even joked with saying next time she might even learn how to do the Uber Eats app to actually send us our Tim Hortons because she hasn't been able to see us in quite some time. So it's just a convenience piece. Whenever there's an emergency or you need something, TD is really there for you to make it convenient. So such a great story. Thinking about your first few years in Canada, there will be many emerging needs that will come up. We are ready for you. If you are looking to buy a car or your first home in Canada, as you work towards your current and future goals, we are here to support and offer personalized advice. Some of the topics we haven't covered yet, for instance, is small business banking and wealth management. And we have specialists to answer all your questions and provide solutions within our retail space. I'm happy to book you an appointment, or I encourage you to visit our TD website for more information. There is so much new to Canada opportunities that we have here at TD. Just in my own neighborhood within the Metro West and the Metro East region, so that's within the Toronto suburbs, so Brampton, Mississauga, Oakville, Kitchener, we actually have an event. It's a TD New to Canada event on next Wednesday, June the 28th, where it actually invites all of our new to Canada customers to come into our branches and to be able to talk about our day-to-day banking, ways of credit, and different types of investment options, all catered to you. It's a 12 to 3 p.m. event. And we also have different organizations within our local communities that will be coming to join us to essentially support you. So there are employment agencies coming, refugee offices, and as well as different immigration offices that will be there to support you on the day. There will be lots of treats, lots of different swag that we can definitely that you can bring home to your family. So if you are in the area, we definitely encourage you to come. But that's just one of the many things that TD does for our newcomers to come. So it's so exciting that you are interested, and we welcome you to our branches. We know that confidence, convenience, and security are top of mind, and it's important for us as well. We have a few different options when sending money. Whether you're paying rent or splitting a bill, Interact Email Transfer helps it make it easy to send money to a person or a business with an email address or mobile phone number and a bank account at a Canadian financial institution. TD Global Transfers are a convenient way to send money internationally, and you can do this directly from your TD app. We have secured ways to save on top of your finances, like TD fraud alerts. You can safely deposit a check on your mobile phone, like I mentioned in my last story, or monitor your spending with the TD MySpend app. TD is proud to have a unique offer available for our customers, including a special new to Canada and international student banking package. For more details, we are happy to share with you after today's session if you're interested. Be sure to visit our New to Canada page on our TD website. It comes in 14 languages, and we have a guide to Canadian banking terms available in 11 different languages to make your banking experience in Canada more comfortable. Thank you so much for joining. We appreciate your time and hope you found today informative. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have and book an appointment when you're ready.
Thank you very much, Giselle. That was fantastic. So once again, everyone, this webinar is being recorded, and we're going to be sending you an email by tomorrow at the latest with Giselle's presentation, as well as the PowerPoint slides that she just spoke to. Please feel free to ask any questions that you have about banking in Canada. You can enter them in the chat box on your screens, and we're going to look to address as many of them as we can over the next 30 minutes or so. We've already received a lot of great questions. Let's start with this question from Senyo that has also been asked by other participants of this webinar. Are credit cards readily available for newcomers to Canada? And what might the credit limits be?
Yes. So we do have a New to Canada package, which offers you the ability to have a credit card within Canada as a newcomer without having Canadian credit history. For international students, it's looking to be up to $1,500. And for permanent and newcomers, we're looking up to $15,000. That is subject to based on income. So anything over $6,000 is subject to income confirmation.
Perfect. Thank you so much for this, Giselle.
Mm-hmm.
Alex asks about car loans. What are the lending criteria typically for newcomers looking to get a loan to purchase a car? And Kanya also has the same question.
So to purchase a car, we definitely welcome being able to borrow for that car loan. Essentially, you're just looking for a car that is 5 years old or less, and you essentially have to be qualified in order to apply. So that would be based on income confirmation. Does that answer the question?
Perfect. Thank you so much. And so, Connie and Alex, please let us know if that answers the question. If you want any further information, feel free to just ask the questions again in the chat box.
When it comes to credit, with new to Canada customers, there's definitely a lot of, would I say, exceptions to rules. So it's all about being able to visit your local TD branch and essentially asking one of our representatives to see what the application could look like. And that's something that we can send down as well. There's a lot of exceptions to rules when it comes to income confirmation.
Alafunk has a great question.
Mm-hmm.
What makes TD stand out from other banks in Canada?
I love this question. So I am a proud TD employee, and simply because I am a TD banker myself. I have banked with TD since when I first came to Canada, when I was in grade 3. And the top reason is really about the convenience piece. We are the only bank that is open with the longest hours out of the 5 competitive banks that we have here in Canada. We have amazing mobile technology when it comes to our TD app and as well as our different platforms. So we have different investment platforms such as direct investing, TD EasyLine and EasyWeb. These are things that you can do banking at the comfort of your own home. I would say that is next to none compared to other banks, just because TD spends a lot of time to ensure that the customer experience is first amongst everything else. So there's a lot of good things that TD has that the other banks don't, and I'm just biased to it.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Giselle. So Arthur has 2 sets of questions. Mm-hmm. I'll go ahead and ask the first set. How can I transfer US dollar funds to Canada before my arrival? And is it possible for me to open a TD bank account pre-arrival?
Yes, that's an amazing question. We actually have an amazing partnership. And is he talking about the TD Bank in the US?
I believe he's located in another country, but okay, his funds are held in US dollars.
Got it. So you can definitely open an account with TD electronically. So through online, you're able to book an appointment and actually open an account. When we do that transfer, that would be through wire transfer services, where essentially you would get information from the bank account that you have at TD and then your bank account from another country. And then you would get that information, the SWIFT code and all the things, and have that transferred over to the TD account. We do have US accounts at TD as well, where you can actually transfer it directly from USD dollars to USD. So it wouldn't be a problem to do that. We also have something called TD Global Transfer Services, where it actually allows you to do transfers online.
Okay, perfect.
Sorry, I will correct myself. My apologies. You do have to open your first bank account and create a profile with TD in person first before being able to do any transactions electronically. So you'd have to create a profile first before doing so.
Perfect. Arthur's second set of questions pertain to Interac eTransfer. Is there an amount limit? And specifically, you want to turn the lights on
Sorry.
there.
No, I'm not making too much movement.
Second question, so is there an amount limitation for Interac eTransfer? And is one able to send, for instance, $100,000 via eTransfer?
So Interac eTransfers is something that you can do locally. So that would be something that you would do within Canada. That one there has a daily limit of $3,000 up to a maximum weekly limit of $10,000. However, we do have other options when it comes to sending money. So we have the TD Global Transfer Services, where it allows you to send money internationally. You can essentially, there is a Western Union option where you can send money through cash pickup in over 200 different countries. That comes from $999 up to $6,999. So you're sending that from online and you're essentially picking it up at a local Western Union location. We also have international bank transfers. That's something that you can do online as well. And you can transfer directly to your recipient globally. That can be $6,500 a day up to $65,000 a month. And then we also have this Visa Direct option. So we've partnered up with Visa. So any type of Visa debit that you have in any type of country, you have the option to send your money to your recipients through your Visa debit card or your Visa Direct card. And that can go up to $2,500 a day, up to $25,000 annually. Oh, I'm sorry, monthly.
Great. Harrison just moved to Kitchener a month ago. Welcome, Harrison, to Canada. So for those of you who haven't heard of Kitchener before, it's a major city about an hour and a half away from Toronto. He's already a TD customer. He gives a shout out to Christy at the TD branch at Conestoga Mall for excellent customer service there. Harrison has been a banker for over 15 years. His question is, how can he learn about job opportunities at TD Bank?
That's an amazing question. So TD loves to hire in different areas and different ways of banking. We actually have an online website where you can actually apply online and also do job searches in your local areas within banking. And then essentially a representative or a manager from a branch will give you a call. So you put your resume and your cover letter online to your local branch, and then someone will essentially be able to give you a call based on the role that you're interested in. So it'd be going onto our online website. But you know what I did when I first started my job at TD as a customer experience associate, I actually walked into my local branch and I did it the old school way where I actually handed in my resume in person to the branch manager. And that's how I got my first job at TD. And then later he told me to apply online, but it's also an amazing opportunity to really network and kind of get to see people face to face.
Great. Chanchal asks a very common question. What are the monthly account fees for international students?
The great news is that for students, student accounts are free for TD. So long as you're in a post-secondary school education, you just have to provide a proof of education. You actually have free accounts for students and has unlimited transactions and unlimited electronic transfers as well.
On a related note, Sujal asks, what account should I open as an international student when I come to Canada? A savings account or a checkings account?
That's a great question. I think there's a common misconception where that checking and savings accounts are the same, but they're not, because it gives you an option to kind of have two separate accounts, which allows you to do your day-to-day operational transactions on a checking account. And then like my story earlier, having a savings account aside where you're not looking at it. and it essentially helps you grow your money. We have those automated transfer services where it allows you to do transfers from your checking to your savings account so that you're saving money aside and putting it away, and know that you're not using that for your day-to-day expenses to save for that rainy day. We also have savings account solutions with different interest rates that will be best fit for your needs, so that you can also earn a little bit of interest on top of that as well.
Perfect. Rajesh asks, can I bring a bank draft with me to Canada and deposit it at TD? And if so, how long will it take for the funds to clear?
That's a good question. Yes, you can definitely bring a bank draft and deposit at a TD account. It will most likely go through a clearing process, especially if you are a new customer to TD, just because it would be based on history, and then also ensuring that we are clearing that international check. For international bank drafts, it typically takes up to 30 days or more in order to get that clearing of that check. But we do have a lot of newcomers and TD customers that do deposit bank drafts into their TD accounts. It just takes a little bit longer. Whereas wire transfers, where it is done electronically, only takes about 3 to 5 days to have it transferred over to your TD account internationally.
Babu Bai is awaiting PR approval from IRCC. In the meantime, he asks, can I open a TD account while on a visitor visa in Canada?
Absolutely. You can definitely open a checking account and a savings account as a visitor of Canada.
Irene asks a common question. I know, Giselle, you've already touched on it a few times, but I want to reiterate this point. Can I open an account with TD online while I'm still outside of Canada?
Yes, so you would have to come to a TD branch first to open your first account, or to at least create a profile with TD before doing the rest of the checking and savings accounts in your account. Once you have a profile with TD, you will be able to open checking and savings accounts online, but the initial transaction does have to be in person.
Michaela asks, how can international students transfer money from their home country to their Canadian account online?
That would be the options that I had mentioned earlier. It would be the wire transfer option, where essentially you're gathering information of your checking or your bank account from your institution over to TD. And that is essentially a online transfer going into your TD account. We also have the global money transfer, where you can send money internationally online once you do have a checking account with TD. We have the Western Union option, where it allows you to send money through cash pickup in over 200 countries. We also do the international bank transfer, where you can transfer your funds directly from your receiver to the account globally. And then we also have Visa Direct, which is something that you can do through your TD app, where you can send money to recipients through Visa Direct through your debit card internationally. And all of those have various limits and transferable amounts.
Alafunk asks, does TD offer tax-free savings accounts? And maybe Giselle, before you answer the question, you can explain what TFSAs are.
Of course. So a tax-free savings account is essentially a savings platform that the government had set out for us back in 2009. So essentially, they realized that a lot of Canadians weren't saving enough money for retirement. So they essentially created this savings umbrella, which allows you to essentially put money into that tax-free account. And whenever that tax-free account earns interest, typically in Canada, that counts towards your income. So if, let's say, I'm making $50,000 a year on my regular job, and I earned maybe $1,000 of interest in this tax-free umbrella that I'm in that savings account, I actually have to add that extra $1,000 towards my income, and then that becomes taxable. But what the tax-free savings account allows you to do is that it actually shelters you from that Canadian income tax, and it actually lets you be able to earn that investment for free, and you don't get taxed for it. So at TD, we do have various tax-free savings account options. We have guaranteed investment certificates. We have savings accounts. We have a direct investing platform which allows you to self-trade. And we also have mutual funds as well at branch level, where you can actually put it into a tax-sheltered account that you're not having to pay taxable income on the interest that you've earned.
Morteza asks a very interesting question. So as all of us know, Canada is a very large country. We have 10 provinces and 3 territories. Canada is the second largest country geographically in the world after Russia. The question is, are TD's criteria the same in all provinces? Are the rules the same, for instance, at TD locations in BC compared to Ontario?
Absolutely. When it comes to day-to-day banking, we are all the same across all platforms. We want to ensure that every time you visit a branch, it's the same experience that you have from 10 minutes away from this branch location over to 5 hours away. So we want to make sure that every single thing is definitely the same across the board. What I will say is that for different investing and real estate lending, it is different in different provinces, such as Quebec, just because they do have different laws in that area. But I would recommend that you visit the TD website to get more information based on where you're currently living.
So we've been getting this question quite a few times, Giselle. What documents does one need to bring into a branch when they're looking to confirm their identity and finalize the account opening process?
So you would need to bring one piece of government ID. So whether that be a driver's license, a passport, that would be I would say that would be the most basic, essential way to essentially open an account with TD. If you have permanent residency, you can bring that permanent residence card. And then you can also bring your temporary license as well, so that we can also get you a part of that New to Canada package.
Julian asks an interesting question. If I bring my money from my home country into Canada, do I need to pay any tax? And if so, how do I know how much tax I'd need to pay?
I think that that's something that we can take away. It really depends on where you are in the area.
So Julian, please email us your question to webinar@canadavisa.com, and we'll be happy to answer it shortly after the webinar. So thank you for that, Julian. Senyo asks, what's the cost for an international student to open up an account with TD? And I know you already touched on this, Giselle, but let's hammer home this point.
Yes, so we do have an international student package. You can actually earn up to $600 of cash back. So it's all about actually making you money. We do have an international student offer where our checking accounts are 100% free, so long as you do have that proof of education. Your checking accounts would have free and unlimited transactions. You're also able to get a TD Visa card as well, up to $1,500 of a limit. That would be free as well. And other different benefits, such as free Interact transfers, free TD Global transfers for up to a year. Lots of benefits. We're trying to make your transition over to Canada as seamless as possible.
Excellent. Carlos says that his PR visa has been approved and he's moving to Calgary this October. Congratulations, Carlos. How can he learn more about how to open a corporate bank account in Canada? And is it possible for him to transfer money to a corporate bank account in Canada from his existing corporate account in his home country?
Absolutely. So I would recommend that you speak to your local TD branch where they can essentially open a corporate account for you, a small business account. And you can also visit our TD website where you can get more information about business banking. We also have the option where we can actually open bank accounts for you online. We have an entire team of people that just work remotely to just specifically open business accounts for our customers. And that's through electronic capabilities. And then, sorry, your second question was how to transfer from one corporate account to the other internationally. It would be the same thing as previous. So it would be the wire transfer services, the TD Global Transfer, and as well as the TD Visa Direct.
Excellent. On a related note, Saeed also plans on opening a small business account in Canada. What types of loans does TD offer to small businesses, and what are the eligibility requirements?
So on a general standpoint, with business loans, there are two main types. There is that regular business loan, where there is a minimum $10,000 up to a maximum of $250,000. There is also a TD Canadian Small Business Financing Acts loan, and that's actually a government guaranteed loan for business owners who want to expand in buying a business. So that is something that has a security against something. So for example, a property or an equipment. That's something that's actually across Canada. So TD offers those two basic loans. Of course, there's other ones as well, where there's agricultural and farm loans, but the two basic ones would be the business loan. And in order to apply, I would recommend that you visit your local TD branch. We do have small business banking managers that's able to help you with those questions and also help you apply. In terms of eligibility requirements, for that regular business loan, we just have to ensure that the customer has operational business activities. So essentially meaning that you have transactions going in and out of your account. It is also a personal guarantee. So we want to ensure that all of any type of credit with TD typically does require income confirmation. So that's something that they would look for when you are applying for that loan.
Perfect. Sushant asks, and I think, Giselle, this is related to the great example you gave of the customer that's been with TD for over 40 years and likes to come in each month to deposit her checks. Mm-hmm. Is mobile app banking with TD different from online banking?
It is. I would say that it is the more condensed version of our TD EasyWeb. It's a little bit more interactive in a sense that there are quick things that you can do on the TD app where you don't necessarily can do on the EasyWeb. I would say the EasyWeb would be like the big tool which allows you to do everything, whereas the TD app allows you to do those quick transactions within that app. It also allows that mobile deposit option, which is not on EasyWeb, where you can actually take a picture of your check and have it deposited straight into your bank account. The other cool feature that TD apps have is that it actually allows you to be verified on the spot. So when you log in into the app, it already verifies you because you've put in your password. So you can actually contact our telephone banking services, TD Easy Line, without having to wait those long lines because you've already verified into the TD app. So quicker way to get your service. So lots of cool benefits on the TD app.
I know you've already touched on this, Giselle, but perhaps we can elaborate on this. So Lakshan is moving to Canada as an international student, and he has 3 questions. Can international students apply for a credit card? Can they apply for auto loans? And can they apply for mortgages?
Yes. So as mentioned before, absolutely. We definitely do apply for credit cards for international students up to $1,500. So that's something that you can get when you visit a local TD branch. In terms of car loans, it will be dependent on your income. So ensuring that when you do apply for that car loan, we can definitely help you find those auto services that would be based on eligibility in terms of income confirmation. When it comes to your mortgages, we have to ensure that you are a Canadian permanent resident. So a Canadian permanent resident essentially means that you've been in Canada for 183 days or more, and you have been or have returned in Canada in the last 5 years. So that would be the eligibility requirement for a mortgage. And then in terms of an income standpoint, they're looking for employment for at least 3 months in Canada.
Perfect. Connie and Himanshu have the same question. How can newcomers learn about the best investment options for them in Canada?
Absolutely. So first things first, always visit your local TD branch. We have amazing advisors that have credentials to talk about investments with you. We also have the TD website where it talks to you about different types of investment options. I had mentioned them previously. There are options to get regular savings accounts. There's also instruments with mutual funds. We have our direct investing platform, which allows you to self-trade. And we also have guaranteed investment certificates.
Great. Ramesh asks a question which we've already addressed, but given how many newcomers come from India each year, I think it's important for us to emphasize this point. Is it possible for newcomers from India to open an account pre-arrival? And also, he asks, what is the process to transfer money from India to Canada pre-arrival?
So in order to do a transfer internationally, we would have to have a profile with TD initially in order to be able to do transfers or to open an account electronically. So the initial step, you would have to go to a local TD branch in order to create a profile before we can open bank accounts or do opening different types of accounts. After that first initial, this is an opportunity where we can do things electronically and overseas.
Excellent. Irene is moving to Canada on a work permit as an intra-company transferee. She asks, are you able to offer credit products or insurance products to newcomers with no credit history?
I'm sorry, do you mind repeating the question?
Does TD offer credit and insurance products to newcomers with no credit history? Do you need a credit history as a newcomer to obtain credit from TD?
No, that's not the case. You can definitely apply for those products without having credit history with TD.
Samantha asks an interesting question. This is a question all newcomers have. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer for this, Giselle. Her question is, what is a good amount of savings to have before coming to Canada? I'll take the liberty of rephrasing this question. How can our users learn more about cost of living in Canada? What tools and resources does TD offer to provide people the information they need so they know what sort of financial capacity they need to achieve their goals in Canada upon arrival?
I would definitely recommend, there is an amazing website online, which is the TD website, which essentially shows you how to get started when you are a newcomer to Canada. There are different tools and resources online that can essentially share with you how to essentially save first. Typically within Canada, we are recommending that you have up to 3 months worth of income savings to save for that rainy day to ensure that you have emergency funds available. But we definitely have a lot of tools and resources online. We also have our TD Easy line, which can also guide you through those steps with investing too.
Excellent. This is a very popular question, not just among newcomers, but among everyone in Canada. How can I remit money back home or even overseas while minimizing fees?
Yes, so that's a great question. It would be the same as the TD wire transfer services, as well as the TD global money transfer. Depending on the amount that you are looking to transfer, you can definitely minimize your fees. So for example, when we're talking about the TD Visa Direct, when you're sending money through recipients over a Visa Direct debit card, it can range from $8.95 to $12.95. And that can get you up to $25,000 monthly in terms of a limit. I think that that's the most, that would be in terms of costly. That's something that we can look into. If you're looking to do larger amounts, that would be where you look into that $50 range. But the most cost-effective way would definitely be doing it through online, through the TD Global Transfer Services.
Arthur has another question. It's how can he learn about which countries overseas are eligible for creating profiles with TD so that they can get started on opening an account pre-arrival? Is there a web page he can visit to learn more about that?
That is definitely something that I can take away, and maybe we can answer it after the webinar call.
So Arthur, please simply send us an email to webinar@canadavisa.com, and TD will reach out to you shortly with that information. Thank you again, Arthur, for that question. We have a couple of questions from Ram. I know that we just spoke about this, Giselle, but maybe there's some additional information we can provide here. Ram plans on moving to Canada as an international student to begin his studies here in September. What are some beginner-friendly investment options and resources available to newcomers?
So for newcomers, you can essentially take a look at our TD website to see our different investment platforms. When you're looking at simple ways to do investing within TD as a newcomer, we do have those different options for you in terms of guaranteed investment certificates, regular savings accounts, and if you are a Canadian resident, which is 183 days or more, it does open you up to other investment platforms as well, such as different types of market growth guaranteed investment certificates, mutual funds, self-trading as well. And that's something that you can visit on the TD website.
Ram's second question is, are there any fees that are associated for newcomer bank accounts with TD? And what special discounts, waivers, and offers does TD have for newcomers?
So the New to Canada package essentially gives you up to $1,630 in value in terms of rebated fees. It does give you a monthly fee rebate of up to 12 months for when you first open your account as a newcomer. And that would be our unlimited checking account. Typically, it is $16.95 every single month, but that is waived for you for the entire year. We also have our TD Everyday Savings account and our TD ePremium Savings account as well. So when you're saving and planning for the future, that is also free of charge. Then it also offers you up to 0.25% of interest bonus for up to 6 months and up to $100 of cash back. We also have that monthly overdraft fee that I was mentioning prior to. Typically, that does cost $3.95 every single month. That is free for you as well. And then when we talk about establishing that credit. So we do have credit cards up to that can earn you up to $500 in value of cashback rebate. And we do have free credit card offers that we do provide within our New to Canada package. We also have, as I've mentioned in the call, which is the TD Global Transfer Services, where you are able to send that money internationally. You can get an unlimited transfer fee and rebates for up to 12 months. So up to $1,630 in value.
Awesome. Irene would like to follow up on her earlier question on the need for credit history. She'd like to confirm if 3 months of pay stubs are required for her to be eligible to obtain a car loan in Canada. And her follow-up question is, can a secured savings account help in order for her to get approved for the car loan?
That is a great question. I think that's something that we can take away because it is dependent on every situation and circumstance. When we are talking about New to Canada newcomers, we do not require a credit history in order to apply for credit. However, it is dependent on what exactly you're applying for, whether it is a car loan, whether it's a mortgage, or whether it's a credit card. There are certain exceptions to the rules, so I definitely recommend that she visits her local TD branch.
Yeah, perfect. And Irene, if you have any follow-up questions, you're also welcome to email us at webinar@CanadaVisa.com. I know we've touched on this already, Giselle, but let's answer Chanchel's question here. He has an account with an institution in the United Arab Emirates. Can he transfer money from that account to a TD account online?
Yes, if he already has an existing line, he can definitely take advantage of our TD Global Transfer Services to be able to transfer. TD Global Transfer Services does send money to over 200 countries. We just need to ensure that the Emirates is within that capacity.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Alifang, for your kind comments. He says, this has been a very informative session. Thanks a lot. You can give Giselle all the credit here. That brings us to the end of today's webinar. We'd like to thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedules to participate. As noted, this webinar was recorded, including the Q&A session. We're going to send you an email by tomorrow at the very latest with the webinar recording, as well as with access to Giselle's presentation slides. You're also very welcome to email us with any questions you have at webinar@CanadaVisa.com, and TD will follow up with you shortly to answer any specific questions you may have. I'm now going to hand things over to Giselle so she can provide us with her final remarks.
I just want to say thank you to every single one of you for taking the time to join our webinar. It is so exciting to see that you are interested in banking with TD. I have worked with TD for over 8 years, but I have been a loyal TD customer for much, much longer. I am so excited to see your experience coming over to TD, and we welcome you to Canada and to all our branches. Looking forward to seeing you and being our customers.
Thank you, everyone.
The light.
Have a great day.
Thank you.